Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Please join us in Srimadbhagavatam class today. Today we will be covering Srimadbhagavatam 10th Canto, Chapter 82. Hare Krishna. Please join us for Jai Radha Madhava prayers. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girdharidhari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girdharidhari. Yashodanandana Vrajana Ranjana. Yashodanandana Vrajana Ranjana. Yamunatira Vanachari. Yamunatira Vanachari. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Let's do the Mangalachan prayers together. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udiriyet Shavatam Swakatha Krishna Punya Shamana Kirtanaha Hridayantasto Bhadrani Vidhunoti Suhasatam Nashta Prayeshva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavti Nashtiki. Hare Krishna. So please join us today in the study of Srimadbhagavatam. Today we'll be covering Srimadbhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 82. Lord Kṛṣna and Lord Balarāma meet the inhabitants of Vṛndāvana. Hare Krishna, please join us for the recitation of the verse from Srimadbhagavatam, Chapter 82. Kṛṣna and Balarāma meet the inhabitants of Vṛndāvana. Verse 1. Shri Shuka Uvacha Atha kada dwara vatayam Vasato Rama Krishna yoho Suryo Paraga Sumahan Asit Kalpakshaye Yatha. Please.
Shri Shukuvacha
Shri Shuka Uvacha
Athe kada dvaravatayam
Athe kada dvaravatayam
Vasato Rama Krishna yo
Vasato Rama Krishna yoho
Suryo Paraga Sumhana
Suryo Paraga Sumahan
Asit Kalpakshaye Yatha
Asit Kalpakshaye Yatha. Shri Shuka Uvacha.
Shri Shukuvacha
Shri Shukdev Goswami said,
Shri Shukdev Goswami said
Atha, then,
Ekada
on one occasion, Dvaravatayam, in Dwarka, Vasatoho, while they were living, Ram Krishna Yoho, Balaram and Krishna, Surya, of the sun, Uparagaha, an eclipse, Sumahan, very great, Asit, there was, Kalpa, of Lord Brahma's day, Kshe, at the end, Yatha, as if. Translation by the disciples of His Divine Grace, Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada. Shukdev Goswami said, once while Balaram and Krishna were living in Dwarka, there occurred a great eclipse of the sun, just as if the end of Lord Brahma's day had come. Purport. As Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur points out, the word Atha and Ekada are commonly used in Sanskrit literature to introduce a new topic. Here they especially indicate that the reunion of the Yadus and Vrishnis at Kurukshetra is being narrated out of chronological sequence. Srila Sanatana Goswami explains in his Vaishnav Toshini commentary that the events of this 82nd chapter occur after Lord Baldev's visit to Vraj, chapter 65, and before Maharaj Yudhishthir's Rajasuya sacrifice, chapter 74. This must be so, the Acharya's reasons, since during the eclipse of Kurukshetra, all the Kurus, including Dhritarashtra, Yudhishthir, Bhishma and Drona, met in friendship and happily shared the company of Shri Krishna. At the Rajasuya Yajna, on the other hand, Duryodhana's jealousy against the Pandavas became irrevocably inflamed. Soon after this, Duryodhan challenged Yudhishthir and his brothers to the gambling match, in which he cheated them of their kingdom and exiled them to the forest. Right after the Pandavas returned from exile, the great battle of Kurukshetra took place, during which Bhishma and Drona were killed. So it is not logically possible for the solar eclipse at Kurukshetra to have happened after the Rajasuya sacrifice. Hare Krishna.
So let's do the Guru Pranati. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gaurvani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyatya Deshitarine Om Jnana Timrandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Mukham karoti vachalam pangum langhayate girim yatkripa tadaham vande Shri Gurum Deenataranam Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. So the main message in this particular chapter is every moment is a chance to love Lord Krishna. And before we get started with the class, we have some important information to share, news to share with the devotees here. His Holiness Bhakti Charu Maharaj, his condition was known to deteriorate, and actually he had a heart attack yesterday. So this happened recently. In addition to that, we came to know that our very dear friend Akshobhya Prabhu, he has been serving in the temple, so he has been driving all the way. So he's one of the, not a resident in the temple premises, but rather he has been struggling with cancer for quite some time. And his condition also became serious, so please pray for him. And also came to know that mother of one of our very close associate, she is also in her last stages. And two of the doctors that we know, very close, associates, devotees, they are also detected with coronavirus positive. So they came out positive, and they are taking care of their parents. So let's raise our hands and chant 3 times the holy name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, thank you, and please pray for all living entities, not just devotees, every life counts. So it is, a Vaishnava, a devotee feels that, if someone is in distress, then they feel the distress of other living entities. Even with that thought, pray. Lord Krishna is very merciful, and if he so desires, he will make the journey easy for all the living entities. And today, the chapter is very much focused on that loving exchanges, where there is every moment that we get in our life is actually a blessing. And it is a chance to love Krishna. It is a chance to engage in his devotional service. And it is a chance for us to purify ourselves. We do not know how long we have in this world. Yet at the same time, a note of caution in this time is, even though we are seeing that various governments, they are starting to, the businesses and so forth, be very cautious, even if you're going out. This is how the 2 doctors, they were called to work, and there were not enough facilities around, to protect them. And they have been interacting with other doctors as well. So you can imagine there's so much possibility of spreading of this coronavirus. Not a leaf moves without Lord's desire, yet at the same time, Lord himself is in this chapter explaining that so many times different living entities, when they are taking his shelter, then they are protected. and they don't take shelter of his lotus feet, and even if they're continuing to do their activities as they are regularly in the devotional service, we have this responsibility that we have received this body from the Lordship, and we should continue to engage. And just not worrying about like what's going to happen, even if we get infected. What are we doing? It is part of the journey, not like when we're born and when we're going to die. Rather, it's the journey that counts. And so make our journey filled with love, happiness, devotion, expressing our gratitude to his mercy. And he is all merciful. Lord Krishna is, he is the reservoir of all pleasures. And he would provide us the path, and he would provide the path to those who are suffering as well, so that they can come back, and continue to engage in his devotional service. Hare Krishna. So the chapter today starts with Lord Balarāma and Lord Krishna. They meet the inhabitants of Vrindavan. How did they meet? Did they go to Vrindavan? No, they did not. So again, this is a very important aspect. Interestingly, if they are already in Vrindavan, how could they go to Vrindavan, right? Acharyas explained that Lord Krishna never steps out of Vrindavan. Now, how do you understand this? Because when Akrura took Lord Krishna and Lord Balarāma from Vrindavan to Mathura, at that time, Lord Krishna and Balarāma, they stayed at the edge of Vrindavan, and it's Vasudeva, Lord Vasudeva and Lord Sankarshan, the expansion. They moved on with Akrura to Mathura. So it is Lord Vasudeva. And Lord Vasudeva, the name Vasudeva has two meanings. Son of Vasudeva. So again, understand the difference, Vasudeva and Vasudeva. So Devaki's husband's name is Vasudeva, and her son is Vasudeva. So we also refer sometimes to him as Vasudeva Krishna. And from Lord Balarāma, the Chaturvyuha expansions happen. Vasudeva, Sankarshan, Pradyumna and Aniruddha. And Balarāma himself is an expansion of Krishna. So these are the four personalities who are in Dwarka. And it just so happened that, there was this solar eclipse identified. And this is a major solar eclipse, which generally occur at the end of the day of Lord Brahma, at the end of Kalpa. So Kalpa is 1000 cycles of the 4 yugas. And during this time, if it occurs at the end of Lord Brahma, then there are torrential rains, and all the planets, all the way up to Swarglok, everything is covered with water. So such, torrential inundating rains occur at that time. However, not in this particular occasion. So the astrological brahmanas in Dwarka, they reveal that this is occurring. So it's a very auspicious occasion. And that there is a holy place known as Samanta Panchaka. So Samanta Panchaka. So again, when we perform, austerities, and Lord Krishna reveals in Bhagavad Gita that Yajna, Dana, Tapa, these 3 things. Yajna is sacrifices, Dan is charity, and Tapa is austerity. So these 3 things should never be given up. Why? Because they purify even the pure souls. So even Lord Krishna in the previous chapter, where he blesses Sudama Brahman, what did we learn? That he is performing sacrifices to satisfy Brahmanas. He is worshipping Brahmanas. And he is giving charity to Brahmanas. In the activities, daily activities of Lord Krishna also we heard that how Lord Krishna, the first thing after he does is after taking out his daily routine and starting his work, he gives out in charity many cows, bedecked with nice clothes and jewels and so forth. He gives them to Brahmanas in charity. So these activities should not be given up. And so Lord Krishna and Lord Balarāma, along with the important prominent Yadavas. Yadavas are descendant of King Yadus. So here, who are these personalities? They all go to where? Kurukshetra. Now it is very interesting that we looked at the ways people were not looking at this is the boundary of my country and that's where your kingdom starts, and that we will have fight. So again, in the current times, because of the effect of Kali age, people are constantly disturbed and they create all this tension at the borders. But in the old times, Yadavas are going to where? Kurukshetra. So Kurukshetra means it is the region of Kurus. It is the place where Kurus in their kingdom, right? And Kurukshetra is one of the holy places. Why? Because Indradev, he gave, boon to Puru that anybody who dies in Kurukshetra will be able to rise onto the heavenly kingdom. And they would be a demigod. So they would become a demigod. So that is a great boon that was given. So here, all the yadus, the prominent yadus, and who are these yadus? The topmost of all of them is, of course, Lord Krishna and Lord Balarāma. They are the Supreme Personalities of Godhead. And when we say Lord Krishna and Lord Balarāma again, people get confused that we just talked about Lord Vasudeva and Lord Sankarshan. And now we are saying Lord Krishna and Lord Balarāma. It's because Vishnu Tattva is non-different, Srila Prabhupada says. They are non-different. It is the activities, it is the leelas, it is the pastimes that are different, not themselves. So all Vishnu Tattvas are considered same. So Lord is expanding, He is not separating. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnam Udachyate. So Lord Krishna, when He expands, it is not that He has become half. He stays one, and His expansion is also one with all the potencies of Lord Krishna. However, when it becomes Vishnu Tattvas, and we especially talk about the Purusha avatars, so that's where the difference comes. With the Purusha avatars, they have 60 qualities in full, while Lord Krishna has 64 qualities in full. So that's a subtle difference that comes in. A major difference, yes, from some perspective, because the 4 qualities are in Madhurya Ras. So again, his Leela Amrita, his Venu Amrita, again, so how he is, expert flute player, and how he has amazing form, his roop, and so forth. So again, so the 4 qualities, of course, they do distinguish, but it's mainly because of the activities they are performed in Vrindavan are much different than that are performed as Mahavishnu or performed in Dwarka Leela. And also, within Dwarka Leela, there are 4 personalities: Lord Sankarshan, Lord Vasudeva, Lord Pradyumna, and Lord Aniruddha, all Vishnu Tattvas. So very nicely is described that along with King Ugrasen, who is the king of the Yadavas, all the prominent Yadavas, the Bhojas, the Vrishnis, he along with Vasudeva and Devaki and prominent inhabitants, including Pradyumna and others, they all, Samba and others, they all go to Kurukshetra on this day where there's going to be this major solar eclipse. And why are they going to Kurukshetra? Because they're going to Kurukshetra, it's a holy place. It has 2 important aspects. First is there is Samanta Panchak. Samanta Panchak. Now what is Samanta Panchak? So when Lord Parshuram, he had annihilated Kshatriyas 21 times. Now somebody could say, why did he annihilate Kshatriyas all over the world for 21 times? Because when his father Jamdagni was killed by the sons of Kartavirya Arjun, after Parshuram kills Kartavirya Arjun, they came and, says Jamdagni, he was performing sacrifice, he was performing a worship. At that time, they came and chopped off his head. And Parshuram, he heard his mother's cry when she called out when he was with his brothers. And Parshu means axe. Ram is his name, right? So we have 3 Rams. We have Lord Balarāma, we have Lord Ramchandra, and then we have Parshuram, who's also Ram. So he came back and he saw his mother crying, and she was beating her chest. She did this action 21 times. So when she did this, all these, the blood of these Kshatriyas, it flew like a stream of, just like rivers, it was flowing. So to contain that, Parshuram, he created 5 lakes. He dug 5 lakes himself. So you can imagine, he is not a simple living entity. He is, Srila Prabhupada says in Krishna book, he is Vishnu Tattva. And at other places, we see Acharyas calling him as Shaktavesh avatar. Yet at the same time, nevertheless, he's an avatar, he's an incarnation, right? So as an incarnation, he is able to take 5 lakes where all the blood of these, Kshatriyas that was contained, not just the kings, but also other Kshatriyas, administrators, who were demonic by nature at that time. So, and then Parshuram, realizing that, acting like, to set an example for the future generation, that it is abominable, it is sinful to kill any living entity. So it is a sinful act to kill any living entity. So to satisfy, means to show and set as an example, he performed sacrifice, he performed austerity, and that purified the place. And those lakes, at this time when there is solar eclipse is occurring, is filled with clear water, pure water. And Lord Kṛṣṇa and Balarāma, along with King Ugrasen, their parents, Vasudeva and Devaki, along with their sons, Pradyumna, Samba and others, they went to Kurukshetra. And there they performed very nice sacrifices, and they gave out a lot of charity. So at the time of solar eclipse, during the hour of solar eclipse, it is recommended in the Shastras that one should give out a lot of charity. And what is the best charity? To give out very nice, young, strong cows. And especially if they have given just birth to one calf, then they would give a lot of milk, because of the affection they have for the calf. So they, after performing sacrifice, the fire sacrifices, they gave many of these cows in charity. Now what's the next action? It is very important that to understand that when Lord performs the charity, He's also showing us that we should sumptuously feed the Brahmanas. Why? Because Lord, as Yajna Purusha, doesn't appreciate the oblations in the fire as much as He appreciates the oblations in the fire in the stomach, right? And in the stomach of whose? Of the Brahmanas. So when we feed the Brahmanas, when we treat the Brahmanas very nicely, and bona fide Brahmanas, right, who are in disciplic successions, who are Vaishnavas, who are situated in Brahman, not just the Brahmanas who are not really situated in Brahman, engage in gossip. So again, when we meet a Brahman, we understand that the Brahman is only talking about Lord Krishna's name, form, activities, pastimes, and also only seeking our welfare, seeking welfare of all the humanity. Brahmanas are also called the spiritual masters of all living entities. So, as spiritual masters, they have responsibility. Now, pay attention. It is clearly stated that of all living entities, not just of human beings, but they are looking welfare of the cows, they are looking welfare of the trees, they are looking welfare of all the insects. So they are very, very much cognizant of the fact, they are very much aware of this fact that every living entity is an eternal servant of Lord Krishna. So they are looking to make sure that everyone gets this benefit to progress spiritually. And of these Brahmanas, there are 2 types of Brahmanas we discussed yesterday. One is Brahman Vaishnava and Brahman Pandita. So Srila Prabhupada explains the difference between the 2. Brahman Vaishnava is automatically, he's a devotee of Vishnu, so automatically he is Pandita. However, Brahman Pandita is a person who is great scholar, right? He is a Gyan Yogi. Yet at the same time, he is not yet a devotee of Lord Krishna. So that is, again, being identified that a Gyan Yogi, a person who is a yogi, yogi means who is connecting to Lord. Yoga means connection with Lord Krishna. And what is the connection? Jivera Sarupaya Krishnera Nityadas. So very simple connection. That we living entities are eternal servant of Lord Krishna. Krishnera Tathashta Shakti Veda Veda Prakash. Krishnera Tathashta Shakti. So we are the marginal, Tat Ast. So as we see in the river bank, there is part of the bank that's under the water and the part of the bank that's above water, right? So this, if you think water is Maya, then the part of the bank is under the water. So that's Tat Astat. That is so marginal energy which is under the water, or it can be above the water. It can either be in the shelter of Mahamaya, or it can take shelter of Yogmaya. So now Yogmaya is like the part above the water. Now how do you explain this? We talk about Mahamaya and Yogmaya, and sometimes it's very easily explained by the Acharyas that one who is taking shelter of Mother Durga, or one who is taking shelter of Radharani. Now Mother Durga, if you're taking shelter of Mother Durga as Vaishno Devi, then of course you're looking at her associated with Krishna. So that's, you're above. But if you're thinking that she is all in all, because she is also called Ardha Shakti, then there is an offense. What is the offense? Because you're thinking that when Goddess Parvati, she was to kill this demon, and at that time, all demigods, they agreed, and all the personalities agreed to give half of their strength. Right? So that's why her other name is Ardha Shakti. So she received half of all the demigods' strength, and all their weapons and divine weapons and so forth. So people who are not good with spiritual maths, let's just say, they misunderstood this. They thought that in that case, from Lord Vishnu, she got half of his potency. So all his potencies were, half of that was, given to Goddess Durga, so he only left with half. But we understand from the Shastras, Om Purnamadam Purnamidam Purna Purnam Vidachyate. So even though Lord Vishnu gives half of his, he still remains the complete whole. So that is an important aspect. It's not that he became half. He remains complete whole while he passed half of his potencies to Goddess Durga. And so if one thinks that now that he has become half and she has half of all other demigods, so she is the most powerful, then there is an offense. So we have to properly follow the Shastras. And these are very, intricate matters to really understand why things are happening. Anyway, this is a very loving pastime. So again, here, all these Yaduvas, they are going. And people perform charity, right? But there is two ways actually that in 3 modes people perform charity. It's given in Bhagavad Gita, 18th chapter. But we'll be focusing mainly on the top 2 ones. So people perform charity. So all the Yaduvas, the descendant of King Yadu, they were performing charity to please Lord Krishna, to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Because the Supreme Personality of Godhead considers Brahmanas as his worshipable deities also. So again, giving to Brahmanas is further performing charity with that. And these Brahmanas are Vaishnava Brahmanas, who are devotees of Lord Vishnu. So they are giving this charity. They are feeding very nicely all the Brahmanas. They are performing fire sacrifices for the Yajna Purusha, also with the focus of pleasing Brahmanas. And of course, Yajna Purusha is none other than Lord Krishna. Bhoktaram Yajna Tapasam Sarvalok Maheshwaram. So Lord Krishna reveals in the Peace Formula 5.29 in Bhagavad Gita that he is the beneficiary of all the sacrifices. So we have to also understand from that perspective that all the activities that the Yaduvas were performing of sacrifices of austerity and charity, they were dovetailed in Lord Krishna's service. And that should be the mood. Every moment we have a chance to love Krishna, and this is their love for Krishna that they were performing these activities. And after taking permission from the Brahmanas, they took the remnants of food, prasad. Prasad also means mercy of Lord. So when we take prasad and we honor prasad, that is, we are getting mercy of Lord Krishna. And by tasting prasad, it purifies our very existence. Of all our senses, the strongest is tongue. It always wants to chatter, and wants to eat palatable things. But when we feed it prasad and when we engage it in chanting of the holy name, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. That is when it gets purified. And when we are chanting the holy name, Lord Krishna and Radharani, they are dancing on our tongue. Right? And this sound vibration is transcendental sound vibration. It, after coming out from our tongue, means again, it goes through our ears into our heart and cleanses the dust on the mirror of our heart. So we can see ourselves clearly. And what will we see when we see ourselves very clearly? That we are eternal servant of Lord Krishna. And just by serving Lord Krishna, we experience transcendental bliss. We experience the peace. We experience the joy. And our heart is filled, that void in our heart is filled because that void has been covered. This void is representing the covering of from the dust on the mirror of our heart. So here, as Yadavas are performing, this performance of charity is much different than the performance of charity somebody could do in the mode of passion. A mode of passion, somebody would do charity with the think of name, fame and glories. They would say, I'm giving this charity. And this is also something very interesting, that when we give something in charity, when we donate some amount, Lakshmi, some people want their name to be declared. There is an effect in the Shastras. It said, as soon as you identify, you have it announced, your charity, the return, we don't think of return as devotees, yet at the same time, the return becomes half, 50%. 50% of its effect is lost, because now it has come to the mode of passion. You are looking for name, fame and glories. And that's why position consciousness is not very much recommended in the Shastras. And we see the human mentality is, I scratch your back, you scratch my back. That mentality is there. But then devotees engage in loving exchanges. They look at the devotion in the other devotee, and so they engage the other devotee. That's why a devotee does not want to even disturb others, is always happy in whatever situation, and wants to continue to serve Lord Krishna. And so all the Yadavas at Kurukshetra, they are gathered. Now what happens is, there is one Yadu, one of the Yadava, who's also in Vrindavan, and many other Yadavas because of this Yadava. And who's this? Nand Maharaj. Now, we have explained to you, it's very clearly given in Padma Purana and other scriptures, that Nand Maharaj was half brother, half cousin of Vasudeva. King Surasena, father of Lord Vasudeva, had many wives. So from Kshatriya wife, he got Vasudeva, the husband of Devaki and father of Lord Vasudeva. And from his wife, from mercantile family, he received a son who was none other than Nand Maharaj. And Nand Maharaj and Yashoda Mai, they came to know that Krishna and Balarāma will be there at Kurukshetra. And they're performing this great sacrifice and would be giving charity, and they would be performing all these austerities in this time. So they decided to take, with them a lot of cows and butter and milk, because to give charity you need these things. And who has it? Well, Nand Maharaj has abundance of it. So he's taking it. Which also reminds me of beautiful pastime from Mathura. It was very interesting that when Lord Kṛṣna and Balarāma, they had gone to Mathura, to their parents after killing Kamsa, they were staying there. Once Nand Maharaj and Yashoda Mai, they heard that Lord Krishna is performing a sacrifice. So when they heard, they said, oh, if Krishna and Balarāma are performing sacrifice, they would need milk, they would need butter, they would need yogurt, all these offerings, they would need, hills of grains to perform, to feed the brahmanas, and they would need cows to give in charity. So what they did was, Nand Maharaj immediately informed all the cowherd men and women, and everyone in Vrindavan was, very encouraged. They were like, oh yes, this is such a wonderful event. Lord Krishna, Lord Balarāma, they are performing this amazing sacrifice. We should help them. He's our life and soul. So, because of that affection, because of that love, they filled all these bullock carts with, big pots of milk, yogurt, butter, and amazing offerings, the grains, the hills of grains, they were loaded onto these bullock carts, and all of them with a great wonderful procession, they started to travel towards Mathura. And they were carrying, and all the, Yashoda Mai and some of the elderly cowherd ladies, they also went. And at that time, they were at the outskirts of Mathura. And that's what Devaki came to know, and Lord Vasudeva came to know that Nand Maharaj as well as Yashoda Mai along with the cowherd men are here. Now they had this fear in their heart that if they come, Krishna loves them so much that he would return with them, right? So at that time, Mother Devaki and Vasudeva, her husband, they came running out to the outside, outside the gates of Mathura, and seeing them, Yashoda Mai and Nand Maharaj, they became very happy. They were coming and they were so happy. They came forward, running, reciprocating. And at that time, as soon as they came close, Mother Devaki, she did something very strange. She did not embrace Yashoda Mai. she actually started saying that when my Lalla, my Krishna was just 5-year-old, you sent him to forest barefoot. He was getting, his feet were getting hurt with the hard ground, the hot summer heating up the ground, and there could be thorns and so much. How could you do that? You could not give him a pair of slippers? And Yashoda Mai is surprised to hear that. And all these words that she is hearing are like thunderbolts on her heart. And she's crying, seeing what is this, what is she hearing? And Nand Maharaj is surprised too. And Devishi Narad, Sage Narad is very expert. He realizes that there is a conflict, right? Right at the boundary, right at the edge of Mathura, there is this conflict that Nand Mama, Yashoda Mai, they have come to meet Krishna, Balaram, and to help them in the sacrifice. And then Vasudeva and Devaki, they have gone, and Devaki is having a conflict with Yashoda Mai. And Yashoda Mai, her voice is choked. She can't even speak in her defense because she is feeling like thunderbolts are falling on her heart, such strong words. And Devishi Narad, he reveals it to Lord Krishna. He is in sacrificial arena, right? In the middle of all the yajnas, Lord Krishna, before the yajna is starting actually, it hasn't started yet, he hears this. So now Lord Krishna comes running out. And since he's coming from yajna sthali, from the sacrificial arena, he hasn't worn any shoes yet. So he's barefoot running, trying to resolve. And now, Devishi Narad, he's sometimes very mischievous by his very character. He is a great personality, of course, we regard him amazing. He's a great personality. He's son of Lord Vyasdev, and also he's in his spiritual body. And Srila Prabhupada glorifies him that he is so merciful that he appears on the pages of Srimadbhagavatam and gives his association to us. He comes, but he wants to see that in this moment of conflict, who will Lord Krishna embrace first? Is it Devaki, Mother Devaki, who is in his defense chastising Mother Yashoda? Or is it Yashoda who is crying in such a manner, hearing the harsh words of Mother Devaki? So he wants to observe. And at that time Lord Krishna comes, and you know what he does? He embraces both the mothers. He embraces them together. And when he embraces them, both of them calm down. The anger, the upset mood of Mother Devaki simply calms down. And the crying of Mother Yashoda calms down. On both the mothers, the milk starts flowing, and they have all the ecstatic symptoms in their bodies. And at that time, they embrace each other. And so easily, just without even speaking a word, Lord Krishna makes them understand each other's position. So yes, our actions may have an adverse impact on others. But if our intentions are good, it is very important for us to also understand, make the other party understand our intentions and understand their intention. So the intention of Yashoda Mai coming to Mathura was not to take away Krishna Balaram, was to help Krishna Balaram be successful in their fire sacrifices and performance of their charity and the austerity that they were undertaking. And the mood of Yashoda Mai was that Devaki is the mother, and she has a Krishna Balaram, and let me help, and yet at the same time understand that as a mother she has this feeling towards her children, her sons, and she may be feeling hurt hearing about those pastimes from Mother Rohini, that how Krishna Balaram would go barefoot in the forest. And that was Lord Krishna's mercy, because if he had worn the slippers, if he had worn the shoes, then there would not have been his footprints on the ground. And he was glorifying Mother Earth. He was glorifying the land of Vrindavan by his footprints, which devotees, they worship. And as we enter Vrindavan, we immediately smear the soil of Vrindavan on our forehead. So that is the mood of Lord Krishna and Lord Balaram when they are going out barefoot. So even if they were given shoes, they would not wear it. They wanted to glorify the land of Vrindavan. They would consider the Vrindavan non-different from themselves. So again, now both the mothers calm down. Now when they meet again in Kurukshetra later on, here, first of all, after Kuru, so they are coming, yet at the same time in this Kurukshetra, which is the land of Kurus, Yadavas, descendants of King Yadu, they are coming. So it is amazing that there is no feeling that this is my boundary, this is the boundary of my country and I cannot come to you, visit you and you cannot come. There should be loving exchange across different nations. That has been given in the Shastras. Yet at the same time, in Kali age, man is disturbed. Manda sumanda matyo man bhagya upadita. In this Kali age, first of all, pranaya alpasha sabhya. Men have very short lives. And kalavas vinyugejana, they are quarrelsome by nature. And manda is lazy. People are lazy by nature. And sumanda matyo means they are not very intelligent. Mati is sumanda, very little. So the intelligence, they have very little intelligence. Manda bhag, and they were unlucky. So these are the effects of Kali age. It is not that we are like that, means this is the effect of Kali age. We are easily disturbed, and that's why hate sells and love is ignored. And people, you use people and they love things. This is because of this less intelligence. And upraduta, and they're constantly disturbed, they're constantly living in fear and anxiety. So how do you overcome fear and anxiety? How do you overcome all these effects? It can happen very simply. Srila Prabhupada reveals this formula, the secret as how to love Krishna at every moment, just by raising our hand and chanting, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Chanting and understanding that every living entity is an eternal servant of Lord Krishna. Some know it, some don't. And we need to pray until something happens, as His Holiness Bhakti Maharaj instructs us that pushes, pray until something happens. And how we say is pray until love levitates. Pull, P-U-L-L. Pray until love levitates. It lifts us up beyond this conception of this body, right? This conditioned state that I am an Indian, I am a Chinese, I am an American, I am a Canadian, I am a European, I am white, I am black, I am brown, I am yellow. All these differentiations are with the body. The soul has none of these characteristics. The soul is pure, Satchidanand. That is the state of the soul. Yet in this particular material world, we have this, avagya, because of the effect of false ego. We are conditioned and we are identifying ourselves as the body. That is the disease. We are all infected with this jaundice disease of this material world, this conditioned life. And we have to rise above it. We have to understand that we are all living entities, we are all spirit souls, and our only service is to cooperate with each other and serve Lord Krishna. We are like two sons who are serving the father. So there is this nice story that two sons, they are serving the father. One son is pressing his left feet as father is resting. The other son is pressing the right feet. And at that time, they start having a quarrel and a conflict among themselves. So the first son who's serving the left feet hits the right feet of his father, the right leg. And now the son who was pressing and giving comfort on the right leg of his father, he hits the left leg of his father. And they are hitting the leg thinking that they are hurting the other one. Yes, they are hurting the emotions. So the happiness and distress is the cause of the soul. But who is getting hurt? It's the father. It is Krishna who is getting hurt. So when we make these issues around boundaries, this is my land, that is your land. This is my thing, I and mine. From I comes envy, from mine comes lust. So we have to understand, not be envious and not to be lustful. Don't associate with the body, because that will cause envy between different living entities, just because of the bodily identification. And of course, we know that leaders have done this time and again. When there was partition of India and Pakistan, they incited people, they use innocent people. People want to be happy, people want to be peaceful. Yet the leaders at times create this because of their own agendas. They create all these issues without realizing that actually we are all living entities. Finding a simple way to live happily and serve Lord Krishna. So not just live happily, that is only partial. We are not so much appreciating the people who are vegetarians. We are appreciating more to the people who are vegetarians, and when they cook something, they offer it to the God. So when they offer to God, that is where it becomes purified. That is where it becomes prasad. So the bhoga offering has to be done. Without that, you are still eating sin. Yagyasheshtashina santam uchyante sarvakilvishe. Bhunjite te togham papa ye pachantatma karanat. Lord Krishna reveals in Bhagavad Gita that all these personalities who are eating food without offering it first to me are eating sin. So why do you want to eat sin? If you eat sin, you become sinful. You become impure. Why to make yourself impure? You make every effort to purify yourself, purify our existence. Get away from the identification of the body, but rise above. This is where Arjun was bewildered, because he was associating everyone on the battlefield with his body. That this is my teacher, this is my grandfather, this is my uncle, this is my brother, this is my brother-in-law, and all those identification bewildered him. And so Lord Krishna first identified the confidential knowledge was that I am not the body, I am the soul. More confidential knowledge was Chavira Swarup Hoya Krishna Das, I am an eternal servant of Lord Krishna. Third most important was Ananya Bhakti. Constantly engage in pure devotional service to satisfy the Lord. So all this knowledge has already been given, and the final instruction is given, Sarv Dhamam Paritteja Mam Ekam Sharanam Vaja. So give up all varieties of religion. Sometimes this religion that we take is also faith, patriotisms. This is also an extension of our lust, which is, what do I have? I have this much, they have so much. This is my boundary, that is their boundary. This is my land, that is their land. All this is lusty impact. And we have to rise above that. All kind of isms. In Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Rupa Goswami reveals this to us. Srila Rupa Goswami reveals, and Srila Prabhupada, in his summary of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, in Nectar of Devotion, reveals it to us that all these kind of isms are just like that. Sometimes within our culture we see this, that even the states have conflict, right? Because they are identifying, they have to overcome this. Here, first example that we are seeing in this is a loving exchange that the Yadavas are going to someone else's region, Kuru's place. And Kurus are considered higher than the Yadavas. They are the first class descendants of King Puru, right? So they always consider Yadavas second class. Yet at the same time, these Yadavas are coming and they are performing charity, they are performing these sacrifices, and they are performing this austerity during the solar eclipse time at Kurukshetra, in the region of Kurus. And there, Samanta Panchak, this is where they take bath in the waters. So these lakes were created by Parshuram, who performed austerity and sacrifices to show by his example not that it is sinful to kill a living entity. And by performing these sacrifices, showing that one should purify one's very existence. And why Yadavas they are performing all these sacrifices of charity and austerity? It is to please Lord Krishna, it is to please Brahmanas. Namo Brahmanaya Devaya Go Brahmanaya Hitaya Cha Jagat Hitaya Krishnaya Govindaya Namo Namaha. So they are performing these austerities. And then they are inviting, so many other personalities are coming. So after taking permissions from Brahmanas, all the Yadavas, they honor prasadam. And then they are resting under the trees. They don't have these big tents. Like if we go out for multiple days events, we would always make big arrangements for tents and all that. They were happy, sleeping under the trees. Such humble living. And they were only dedicated to pleasing Lord Krishna, Lord Balaram. That was their whole goal. And they were satisfied in that situation. So now they were very prominent. 16,108 queens of Lord Krishna, they are on palanquins, and all the other ladies, prominent ladies, including Mother Devaki, they are coming in these palanquins, and these palanquins are being carried by very strong, handsome-looking gentlemen, and everyone is dressed in the best of the clothes, ornaments, and so forth. They were looking 100 times more beautiful. So it appeared like the celestial realm has just descended in Kurukshetra, and everyone is very beautifully performing sacrifices, performing charity, and so forth. And as they are resting, who arrives? Nand Maharaj with all the cowherd men and the elderly cowherd ladies and the gopis. He arrives, and he's bringing so much. So again, this is again another wave of charity that happens at this place. But before charity, as soon as Vasudeva, father of Lord Vasudeva, He is the, Vasudeva is husband of Devaki. He sees Nand Maharaj at a distance, saying that this is my elder brother, he's my half cousin, and my very dear friend. He runs to welcome Nand Maharaj. And so Nand Maharaj saying, he gets off the bullock cart and he runs towards Vasudeva, and they embrace each other. And that embrace is not like, just embracing and then saying, what, how are you? This embrace lasts for a long time. They're just holding on to each other as if they're each other's life and soul, as if they are one and not different. That is the mood as how they're embracing each other. And in this mood, they are, this happiness and in love, in affection, the tears are gliding down from their eyes. And when Devaki and Mother Yashoda meet, they reciprocate the same mood. They're embracing each other. So all the ladies, they are meeting, and from the Yadava side as well as from Vrindavan side, all these ladies, they're meeting with this mood. And Mother Rohini and Mother Devaki, they're embracing Mother Yashoda and talking about Lord Krishna's pastime. So the whole environment is concentrated. It is, filled with the chanting of the holy name. It's filled with Lord Krishna's name, form, activities, pastimes. Everyone is discussing that. That's exactly what was happening even before, when just the Yadavas had started the fire sacrifice. Everyone was glorifying Lord Krishna and Lord Balarāma because they are their life and soul. So everyone is constantly, and at that time the Gopis, they are looking for Lord Krishna and Lord Balarāma. And when they are seeing Lord Krishna and Lord Balarāma, they are seeing with such intensity, with such ecstasy. They're experiencing transcendental bliss looking at Lord Krishna. They're feeling this love that with their eyes they are taking in Lord Krishna in their heart, and they're embracing Lord Krishna in their heart. They are hugging him with affection. And so Lord Krishna, knowing that he is in their heart as the super soul, he reciprocates in their heart. So the super soul in their heart is embracing them. So they feel that embrace of Lord Krishna with love, with his affection, with his, constant remembrance that he has not forgotten them. And so this is a very loving. Now somebody could say, wait a minute, so these ladies, whole of this, the residents of Vrindavan, they have come to Kurukshetra. And Acharya has revealed that Krishna Balaram, they never leave Vrindavan. So are they there? Well, wherever Vrindavaneshwari, there is Krishna, because she has Lord Krishna's lotus feet in her heart, right? Lord Krishna never leaves her heart. So wherever Radharani goes, she carries Krishna with him. That there is Vrindavan. So this is also where we also talked about earlier at another place in another region, the ashram, where they had gone, and the queens met earlier with all the gopis, and there was even Ras Leela being performed. There Queen Rukmini learned that Lord Krishna's feet are always in her heart, in Radharani's heart. And so similarly, Siddhashram, that was the place, yes. So here, similarly they are saying, so Lord Krishna is always present with the gopis in his aparakrat bhav, while he is in Dwarka in his Aishwarya, Vaibhav form. So as Lord Vasudeva, and Lord Sankarshan is an expansion as well of Lord Balaram. So here, sweet pastimes are happening, and now the blinking of their eye is very disturbing to the gopis. So when their eyes blink, they are not able to see Lord Krishna. So they condemn, they're condemning Lord Brahma, that he has created these eyelids, he created these human bodies, and these are so imperfect, because when their eyelids, they blink, they close, then they are not able to see Lord Krishna. So they are actually condemning the creator of this universe. Such pure souls and such greed, lollyam. Srila Rupa Goswami in Bhakti Rasamrita Sambuddhu, he reveals that one has to have this greed to see Lord Krishna, to love Lord Krishna, to meditate on Lord Krishna, to see him, name, form, activities, pastimes constantly, to engage in this lollyam, with this greed, the excessive greed. And there are two wonderful stories. They come in the Shastras that Srila Prabhupada shared. One is that there was this boy who was going to Gurukul, right? So only the Brahmanas boys, brahmacharis, they would go to Gurukul and they would stay there. In case of Kshatriyas and Vaishyas, their sons, the mercantile families and the administrative families, they would send their sons to a Gurukul that was close to their home. So the kids would stay at home but go during the daytime to the Gurukul and study there. However, Sandipani Muni's ashram was a combination of all three varnas, right? Kshatriyas, who are the administrative class, the Brahmanas, who are the scholarly class, as well as the Vaishyas. So all three class children would go to Sandipani, and he would give them education at their different varna level. That's why Sudama Brahman is a Brahman. Lord Vasudeva Krishna appears as a Kshatriya, administrative class. So, of course, he's transcendental to all three modes. So he's above the three modes. And he's the cause of all four varnas. So he establishes the four varnas. So here, as the pastime is continuing, Lord Krishna, he is there, Lord Vasudeva is there, and he is conversing with the Gopis. And the Gopis, they are constantly, looking at him, and they want to have this conversation. So taking advantage of all this, everyone is embracing each other, having conversation. Lord Krishna is able to go with the Gopis at a secluded place, and this is where Lord Krishna is revealing. But Lord Krishna, what he reveals is similar to an earlier conversation between Lord Vasudeva and Queen Kunti. So earlier, when before the meeting of all the Vrindavan Vasis, many of the Guru personalities, right, they also came. So Queen Kunti came, Dhritarashtra came, Bhishma Pitamaha came, Dronacharya, Kripacharya came, Duryodhana along with his brothers came, Yudhishthira Maharaj with Queen Kunti and other Pandavas, they all came. And they were embracing Lord Kṛṣṇa and Lord Balarāma. And at that time, Queen Kunti and Vasudeva had a beautiful conversation. Queen Kunti was expressing with tears in her eyes that, oh, my dear brother. So Vasudeva is her brother, real brother. So she's expressing that when we were in distress, you did not take care of us, right? You did not, send any messenger to inquire about our welfare. And at that time, Lord Vasudeva, he is saying, Vasudeva is father of Lord Vasudeva, Krishna. So he is revealing that, my dear sister, please don't feel sorry, and please don't, see my fault in it, because we were also tormented by Kansa. And we were all scattered all around the kingdom. We were all hiding, and it was very stressful situation for us also. And it is only after various kings who were our enemies, they have been killed, that I am able to see you. So this is where the Acharyas reveal, because of the conversation, it becomes clear that this event where everyone is meeting at Kurukshetra during the solar eclipse happened just before Rajasuya Yajna. But after, Kansa had been killed, after Jarasandha had been killed and all that. So this is the time where this event happened, where Vasudeva is sharing that all these demonic kings have been killed. Another sign Acharyas reveal is that at this particular time, it is said that Yudhishthira Maharaj came with all the Pandavas and his subordinate kings. So after Jarasandha was killed, all the kings in the region had accepted Yudhishthira Maharaj as emperor, right? So that has also been satisfied. So that's why under his jurisdiction. So they were coming as under him. So that's also revealed. Because right after Rajasuya Yajna, what happened? Duryodhana felt humiliated, and he immediately had Jayanta assembly created and invited the Pandavas for this gambling match, where he cheated them, and they were all sent to the forest. So it is much before that, before the Rajasuya sacrifice event happened, this is happening. And here, many of the personalities have been identified, who are the kings, like King of Mathura, now Madras, King of Kerala regions, and so many other kings who came there, and they were also participating, and they were invited as guests to participate. So just like when we hold a puja, sankirtan event, a namhatta at our home, we invite other people to participate in it for their welfare. Similarly, the Yadavas, they had invited all these kings and all these personalities. Viduji is there along with Sanjay and others. So they are all invited, and they are all participating and engaging in this wonderful event during the solar eclipse. Yet at the same time, What is the yajna for current age? In the current age, instead of going, because in the Dwapar Yuga, Dwapare Parichayayam, going to a holy place, going on a pilgrimage was the yajna for Dwapar Yuga. And of all the yajnas, Lord Krishna reveals in Bhagavad Gita, Nam Japosmi, that chanting my holy name is the topmost yajna. And that is also the yajna for this Kali age. That in Kali age, Sankirtan yajna, right? Kala tat Hari Kirtana. By chanting the glories of Lord Krishna, that is the yajna for current age. And it simply starts with raising our hands and calling out for the Lordship. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So we have to also understand that there are yajnas of different ages, and of all of them, the topmost is Sankirtan Yajna, the congregational chanting of the holy name, and reading Srimadbhagavatam, right? That's also glorification of Lord Krishna. Reading Bhagavad Gita, conversing with devotees, sharing the confidential subject matters. That is all Sankirtan Yajna. So yes, you are participating, just like the Kauravas, the Kurus, they were participating on this great sacrifice that the Yadavas were performing. We are all participating in this Sankirtan Yajna today. And every time we get together with the devotees and we sing the glories, we hear the glories, we chant the glories, we remember the glories, we constantly seek to serve the devotees. We constantly seek to serve the deities and dovetailing all our prescribed duties, all the activities in pleasing Lord Krishna. Not acting like the two sons of a father who are hating the other leg, thinking that they are hurting the other son. So even Deviation and Gurumai. So this material energy from which we have received these bodies is Gurumai, the three modes of material nature. Mama Maya Duratya is Lord Krishna's energy. So when we hurt someone's body also, even that is sinful. So we have to be very much compassionate to the other living entities. And we should give up envy that arises from this sense that I am this body and my body has so many designations. And Bhakti Devi, devotional service, has two sons, right? They are knowledge and vairagya, renunciation. So these are the two sons we have to also understand. With the power of detachment, but again, in Bhagavad Gita, detachment is by putting ourselves in attaching to the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. So that is the true detachment. Anasaktasya vishayam yatharam upayunjata nirbandha Krishna sambandhe yukta vairagya muchyate. What is the proper renunciation? To dovetail everything in service of Krishna and giving up all these false, upadhis and false thinking. But understanding that everything can be used in Lord Krishna's service. And using everything in that mode. All our prescribed duties should be dovetailed in pleasing Lord Krishna. Then we can make spiritual progress and we can be happy in our heart. Otherwise, even if we win the whole world, we'll never be satisfied because we will be constantly tormented with I and mine, the lustful feelings and burning with envy. So those are the two things. And Srila Prabhupada reveals this with his example when he was once asking Her Grace, one of the, today I'm forgetting so many things, so again one of the disciples, she is no more there, Yamuna Mataji, that are you teaching others how to cook? The other disciple of his, she said, no Prabhupada, she is not teaching us how to cook. Then Srila Prabhupada said, you must, otherwise you will become envious. So whatever little knowledge we have, whatever little mercy we have received, we have to distribute it. Because when we distribute it, it multiplies. Just like happiness. Whatever little happiness we receive, we should share it with others so that it multiplies. And if there is anything negative, don't even discuss it. Just shun it so that it dies out. We divide it completely away. We are not even discussing it. So every life matters. And everyone is a living entity. Every living entity is a devotee of Lord Krishna. So everything should be used in service of Lord Krishna. And so when Lord Krishna takes all this, so similar to this pastime where the conversation is happening with Queen Kunti and Vasudeva, her brother, Lord Vasudeva, Krishna, he takes the Gopis in a secluded place, he's giving them knowledge. And he's telling them that, I had to come to Mathura because there was all these enemies, and I understand that I never forgot you, and I know that you are my unalloyed devotees, and so forth. Trying to give them knowledge. And the Gopis, at the end of the chapter, after hearing all this, of course, they are unalloyed devotees, they are the pure devotees of Lord Krishna, and they have been missing him. Yet at the same time, they are saying, so Acharyas say that why didn't Radharani not go to from Vrindavan to Mathura? Because she could have gone and Lord Krishna would not have stopped her. Because Gopis, they are revealing here that we cannot live Vrindavan. Vrindavan is our life and soul. And this is where you are in your Mathura Bhav, right? They are in this conjugal loving relationship. And Vrindavan provides that environment for this conjugal loving relationship to be there. In Mathura and Dwarka, it is Aishwarya Bhav, right? It is the opulence, goddess of fortune is residing as Rukmini. So they are not, attracted by it at all. They would like Krishna to come to Vrindavan with them. And of course, every time, Krishna never leaves Vrindavan. So when we say that wherever there is Radharani, Vrindavan travels with her, what does that really mean? So wherever Srila Prabhupada would go, people have revealed their experiences that he would carry Vaikuntha with him. There will be transcendental bliss all around Srila Prabhupada. And the only thing that people would feel is transcendental bliss and the glories of the holy name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And Srila Prabhupada, he was freely delivering the love of Godhead, easily distributing it equally to everyone. He never distinguished whether you are white or black. He never distinguished whether you are yellow or brown. He never distinguished whether you are a European or an American. He never distinguished whether you are an Indian or a Pakistani. He never distinguished in any of those matters. He even never distinguished between whether you are a man or a woman. When he saw that there was, to be able to promote Krishna consciousness, ladies want to get Brahman initiation. Even though Shastras don't say that, he agreed to give ladies, initiation from the perspective. Even though Shastras say that, and there are other aspects, so we want to kind of avoid in this particular class going into much detail on that, what the scriptures say. But the important thing was he was not looking at their bodily designations. He was looking at the spirit soul in their heart. And Jivera Sarupoya Krishna Nityadas. So he was changing the details to enable Krishna consciousness to spread all around the globe. And he, as an acharya and a devotee, was spreading this love of happiness, this message of happiness, message of love, of Godhead, all around the world. Just like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he opened the door gates of love of Godhead, the topmost treasure in the spiritual realm, and he freely distributed it at no charge. Similarly, Srila Prabhupada distributed it at no charge. And sometimes it's very interesting that people even, misunderstand that concept. And in their ignorance, they say, if you want this, you need to charge. And sometimes people even misunderstand when the devotees are charging. So when we go out for book distribution, they are saying, well, Krishna gave this knowledge free, right? And Vyasadeva distributed this knowledge free. Then devotees have a very simple response. It's the printing charge. Yes, the knowledge is free. But to get it in the printed form, it charges something. And you can imagine, means you can't even get this at the price, even in printing times today. The devotees are so merciful. They are, giving it so easily. And you can go to vedabase.io. If you just want not to have books, you want to read the knowledge, it is freely available. You go to vedabase.io, all Prabhupada books are freely available. Take your time, read, enjoy, drink the nectar of love of Godhead, and purify yourself. It's so freely available. So devotees, they never charge. It's just that to be able to make it available to others, it is required that some engagement of Lakshmi is there. And Lakshmi is happiest when she is engaged in serving Lord Vishnu. So when she is serving Lord Krishna, when Radharani is serving Lord Krishna, she is the happiest. So this is the mood of a devotee. Here, all the gopis, including Radharani, is expressing to Lord Krishna that what you have told is, this is for Gyan Yogis, for exalted personalities. We are simple cowherd women, right? We have simple homes, we are village girls, so we cannot understand your instructions. So this is again the exalted position which Aryas are explaining, that they are expressing to Krishna, in a little tinge of criticism. So they are like, kind of like chastising Krishna himself. This is what Radharani can do. So she raises herself, but it's a very sweet pastime how she is putting that I am the one who is so dull-headed. I cannot get your instructions. I cannot contain your instructions. These are great instructions. Daughter, leaf moves without God's will. Yet at the same time, we understand that pure devotee gets to the level that they can tell Lord Krishna in this manner, and she is the purest of all, Aradhita, right? That's her name comes from Aradhana, which is the topmost worshipper. She is the topmost worshipper of Lord Krishna. And so she is telling Lord Krishna that, we are simple cowherd ladies, we are simple village girls, we cannot take your instructions. All we know is we love you and we want you to love us. So please come back to, Vrindavan with us and be there. And Lord Krishna at that time also revealed that I am actually always situated in your heart. I am always there. I never left you. I am constantly thinking of you. Which is true, because Lord is in his aparakar bhav. He is residing in the heart of every gopi, every living entity in Vrindavan. And as super soul, he pervades all. And we talked about this. As super soul, when he pervades all, he is in his expansion. Of course, that's eternal asat chit. So again, Anand part is there, which is his true form as a personal form, yet he expands himself. And the chanting of the holy name, Lord has endowed it with all his potencies. So, Nama Chintamani Krishna's Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha Abhinatvam Nama Namino. So again, Purna Shuddha Nitya Mukta Abhinatvam Nama Namino. So Lord's name is like Chintamani, the touchstone. And Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha, he has endowed it with all his potencies. All his consciousness is there. Purna Shuddha, it completely purifies our existence, Nitya Mukta, and delivers us from all kind of material attachments. And it is non-different. Lord's name, Lord Krishna's name is non-different from his personality, from Lord Krishna himself. So he is residing in this age in his holy name, in the form of his holy name. That's why it is highly recommended, again and again Srila Prabhupada recommends that we should chant the holy name with love, with devotion. We should make a loving offering of our soft heart as a butter for this butter thief, so that he steals it, he tastes it, he enjoys it. And that enjoyment of the love of our heart will give us pleasure. That will the only solace for us. That is the only shelter that can satisfy our heart. That can only the shelter, the love of Lord Krishna can only fill the void in our heart. It can, this void is the darkness, it's the dust on our mirror that can be taken care of if we serve Lord Krishna with this mood. So this is the message today, that please take to the chanting of the holy name. Take to, dovetailing all our prescribed duties. So all the activities that you perform in serving Lord Krishna, and every moment is an opportunity. It is a chance for us to love Krishna and await his reciprocation. So please pray until love levitates. Continue to pull it, P-U-L-L. Pray until love levitates, until it lifts us from our current state, from our conditioned state to the love of Godhead, to understanding that we are living entities. Doesn't mean others are not. Every living entity is a Jiva Rasarupa Krishna. This is an eternal summit of Lord Krishna. We all hankering for one thing, to serve Lord Krishna, to love Lord Krishna, to be in affection with Lord Krishna. So again, that is the message today. And please join us in praying for welfare of His Holiness Bhakti Charu Maharaj, as well as our dear friend, our dear associate Akshobhya Prabhu. His welfare. So hopefully he recovers quickly and he feels better. And also for the mother of one of our devotees, as well as a couple of our doctor friends, and close associates. Please pray for them and join us in Nasima Devati. This is Devati as the prayer for protection from Lord Nasimadev at such times. And pray for all living entities, and please be very careful not to go out and be victim of coronavirus. Stay happy, stay blessed. Hare Krishna. Namaste Narasimhaya, Namaste Narasimhaya, Prahlad Vedayine, Prahlad Vedayine, Hiranyakashi Purvakshaha, Hiranyakashi Purvakshaha,
भगवान की जय, प्रहलाद महाराज की जय, शिला प्रभुपाद की जय, श्रीमद्भागवतम की जय। हरे कृष्णा।
हरे कृष्णा।